Today's little discussion is going to be on my 303 Lee Enfield. This, although it looks like a number 5, what they typically call the Jungle Carbine, this is actually a number 4 that is made up to look like a number 5, and this was done by this company. It's stamped on the barrel, Santa Fe Jungle Carbine, Golden State Arms Company. These were done in the 50s and 60s by using parts from older number 1s and number 4s that they would put together to make a replica of the number 5. And in my opinion, these aren't just like a knockoff. These used original parts, and this company, Golden State Arms Company, would select fine parts, like nice parts for their rifles. They wouldn't pick any of the surplus parts they would use. They wouldn't use any surplus parts that were worn or that weren't in good shape. So if you do find one of these, they always seem to be in very good shape, and they did a really good job with this conversion, in my opinion. And it would piss off a lot of the people that owned number 5s. These are actually a better choice, I would think, than the standard number 5s, only because they did have some issues with the number 5s as far as what they would call a wandering zero, that they just didn't sight in well, and this could have had a lot to do with the lightning characteristics they did by etching into the metal on the receiver and on the end of the barrel. Underneath this wood here, you'd see at the top of the barrel, they would scallop out where the receiver joined the barrel for lightning purposes. And this might not have affected the rifle in a good way. There's a lot of controversy over to that. A lot of people saying that just the British really just wanted to get rid of the rifle, and it was a good excuse to use to get rid of it and move on to something semi-automatic. Since the SKS and the M1 Garand were being used by other countries, they wanted to sort of play catch-up. But in my opinion, these are really nice. Whenever you see a number 5 in a gun shop, they always look like they've been kicked down the street. But whenever I run into one of these, I've seen a couple of them at shows, and they always seem to be in decent shape. It looks like the top wood here is from a Mark 1. And the receiver here, it looks like from a Mark IV. It's very interesting, but this is a 1942 Maltby stamp on here. And so this is the receiver itself is a true World War II era receiver from a number 4. And this action is beautifully smooth. The sight, this tip-up rear sight here is in perfect shape. Everything about this gun. I do have a video posted up of me actually shooting this rifle, if you wanted to take a look at that. Originally, this Santa Fe Arms Company, let me pull this out, I should have had this at the ready, but originally this Santa Fe Arms Company had a... bear with me here for a second, I'm sorry. They delivered these with their own 7-round magazine, that stamped Santa Fe magazine. And I've heard that these magazines are actually sought after. For some reason, they sit a little bit lower in the receiver, in the gun here, much more flush. And these are sought after because I don't think there is an actual 7-round magazine, an original one that actually came with these. But I do have this, but I opted to look around on eBay, and I found a nice one that wasn't too rusted and banged up, and actually fit and looked the same as the one that I had, 10-round magazine to put in there. Now the thing with these magazines are, even though they're removable, it looks like it's a regular removable magazine, like you could have 10 of these in your pocket. But actually, these magazines are fitted to the gun. When I first received this, it would not feed rounds into the chamber. You actually have to do work here with these feed lips that you see on here, and you have to tailor them. Each gun, it's going to be a little bit different. So once you get it set up for your particular gun, if you wanted to carry an extra magazine in your pocket, you'd be able to. but they wouldn't in wartime be able to just, fill these up and just hand them out for just anybody because you'd put it in the gun. It might not necessarily work. They have to kind of be tailored for the gun. They say that these are removable only for cleaning purposes, So for the most part, you'd leave that magazine in there, and you actually load the gun just by feeding each round in. There's a little scallop here for your finger where you would push each round in, and loads smooth and fires smooth. This was tapped years ago by my father for a scope mount. Doesn't really bother me that much that it's drilled because it's pretty unobtrusive. You don't really notice it. And it's nice to have that mount put on here and just, be able to slide a scope on there, and it fits it very well. And that's it. They did a great job here with the flash guard, and I do have the bayonet. Let's see if I can come up with this. I believe it's behind me. Take a look over here. Yep. Got it right over here. This is an aftermarket bayonet I purchased. It doesn't really say where it's made, but it has that handle, that wooden handle, that look of the Pakistani knives that you would see out there. I wouldn't be surprised if this was made in Pakistan. But they try to make it look as original as possible by putting RFI on it, and it doesn't actually say any country or anything of manufacturer on it, but it matches the gun well. You see the woods. It just so happens that this wood matches the wood of the gun just about perfectly, and even the color, the blackening of the metal, how the metal looks even matches perfectly. Couldn't be a more perfect match for this gun. And it's an interesting bayonet. If you see, it has, because of the flash guard, it has to have this big ring on it to fit over the flash guard. And it's firing it with this on is kind of interesting to actually use the rifle and have this bayonet like this on there. Interesting rig. It's definitely an interesting bayonet. It certainly catches everybody's attention at the range when you're firing it looking like this. But an original bayonet for this rifle is incredibly expensive. This one, it comes with this nice metal scabbard. It doesn't come with the frog, I think it's called, that goes on here. It's like a leather thing that would go on your belt that hooks to this button here. It doesn't come with that, and I've seen those around. I'll eventually come up with one. I'll be at a gun show and I'll find one of those. But the fact that it comes with this nice metal scabbard is nice. It's not an original piece, but really worth the money. They're under $100, and I think it was more around $75, $70, something like that. But well worth it in my opinion. It doesn't really come with an edge on it at all, but the steel looks good enough where if you took it to a knife guy, he'd be able to at least put a slight edge on it. You know what I mean? Nothing razor sharp, but he could definitely be sharpened. And that's it. That's my 303. I get my ammo from PPU, that Serbian company. I'm sure you know, that makes the ammunition, and I could show you a little comparison here of a 303 round up against the 3006. This is the comparison here. This is a 303 British, and this is the American 3006. It's slightly shorter, but retains a lot of the characteristics. You can see the 3006 is rimless. Well, not rimless, but it has, the recessed rim. And the 303 bullet has more of that pistol-looking bottom with just the standard rim on it. And but both have a necked cartridge that's very similar. And the bullet size is almost identical, as you can see. And it's an interesting round. It's probably a little bit less powerful than the 3006, but still packs plenty of punch. If you wanted to hunt with this gun, it's absolutely capable. And like I said, the ammo is available through PPU. You could pay about $22 a box if you find it good. The boxes kind of looking like this from PPU. And there's different kinds. I even have some here. These are soft tip bullets. I got they're a little tough to feed into the bolt action. It kind of takes a little bit of the tip off of it every time you feed around. So the lead tipped is probably better just to go with the full metal jacket like this, the military type rounds. And that's it. Hope I did a pretty comprehensive review on it. I don't know. I don't know tons about these Santa Fe Arms ones. Just from what Wikipedia has a good page. You want to take a look on Wikipedia where they talk about the number 5. There's actually a whole section where they just specifically talk about these remakes. I think there were a couple of companies that did it, but I have seen this Santa Fe Arms, this Golden State Arms company, won a couple of times at a couple of gun shows, and always good quality. They never put together just a bunch of junk. They use good parts, and the way they put it together is is really nice. They mimic. I don't know if they get original parts to do this, but the butt plates are almost impossible to distinguish from an original number 5. They look just like this. The flash guard sight combination with the bayonet look here that's on the front. This looks almost identical. I mean, this is identical. A friend of mine has an original number 5, and I did a look over, and it's every single aspect of it looks identical. The only thing that his has that mine doesn't have is the scallops, the weight removal areas. And to tell you the truth, I held both up and felt the weight of them, and didn't really notice any difference. If anything, it's literally just ounces, a couple of ounces difference. How that would have mattered that much to cut the gun up and potentially ruin its accuracy, I don't know. But any questions, you can post them, and I'll see if I would be able to have an answer for you. And have a good one.